hear me. All right, here we are. Welcome. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're back on the charts. I want to welcome everyone who clicked the link on Messenger. If you're interested in wanting to join a Messenger group where I share a lot of ideas, a lot of trading ideas, then please hit me up wherever you may be watching from. And we're about to jump into the charts. I'm just going to check real quick and make sure that this is sounding the way that I'd like for it to sound and making sure that everyone gets their messages. So, if you know anybody who's interested in learning this skill, this is something that I think is a game changer. For real. Maybe if you're looking to supplement income, right? You want to start a side hustle, all those good things. Then I think that trading may be just the thing for you. All right. Let's check out YouTube. Hey, everybody on YouTube. Just going to give you a shout out real fast. And let's see if we're streaming to YouTube already. All right, looks like it's on the dot. Looks like we're on target. So I'm gonna just keep rolling with it. Trying out a new streaming platform called OneStream. If you're looking for something to stream to multiple platforms, we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook today, and it's free, 99. So get it while you can. And figure that out. For the free plan, I think you can go to multiple platforms, 2 platforms to be exact. So, not a bad deal. And how many you know free is always in the budget. All right, always in the budget. So, very good. All right, so let's jump into the charts. Hey, where is our charts? Let's see here. I probably have to tell it where to look for my chart. All right, there's our chart. So if you're new to trading, then I would anticipate you have a lot of questions. If you are wanting to learn how to trade, I want to show you the easiest, most effective approach that I've ever come across, that I've had a chance to now develop our own strategy. All right. And we call it the bullseye. I had a cool graphic for the bullseye. I should try to pop that on here real fast. And why do we call it the bullseye? The bullseye. It's because we are using trend approach, following the trend. And with pinpoint accuracy, we are able to enter the market. There it is. We're into the market with pinpoint accuracy, and our targets typically will get hit on a daily basis. So, what does that mean? That means get with the program, guys. Here it is. Bam. No, that's not it. But that's kind of the approach, right? Is the bullseye target. Let me show you that, because that was actually pretty fun to make. Where is it? It's this one. Let's see, because I don't know. Yeah. No, it's not that one. I use AI for all kinds of stuff. And what is this? Let's see. There it is. All right. Number six. Fun. All right. The bullseye strategy right here. Bam. We want to go over it today. In-depth weekly review if you have questions, I want to try to see how can I look at your questions. Just drop your questions wherever you may be watching from, okay? And we'll do our best. We'll do our best to get to those questions. If you want to join a free Telegram group, you can also message, and we'll get back to you to get you into a free Telegram group. Here, let me do this. All right, just going to look at the chat with you all real quick. All right. Yeah, okay. So here we go. Let's dive in. This is a really simple approach, like so simple it hurts. So simple, it's like, yeah, how in the world can you make it any more simpler? I don't know. All right, I'm looking at Facebook chat real quick. All right, cool. Perfect. All right, we're back on the charts. So let's get started. What you want to do first, and what I want to introduce you to first, is the bullseye arrows. The bullseye arrows, okay? That's these guys, and I know it looks like a lot. Well, it's because we're on a 1 minute chart. If you go to here, let's just do this to make life really simple. Let's erase everything. How about that? Okay. And we want to start at Monday. Monday was actually really, really horrible day to trade. But with our rules, it really made it quite simple. It made it quite simple to follow. All right. So here we go. In trading, there are two things you want to pay attention to: time and price. Time and price. Write that down if you're taking notes. Time and price. And what's most important? Time, 8:30 a.m. Okay? So I want to go here. I want to go back in time to Monday. All right. I want to come here to Monday. All right. I'm going to blow this up so you can see it really clearly. Flip your phone off to on the side so you can see this landscape if it makes it better for you, so that you can see what's happening on this chart. All right. So Monday, April 29th. Is that Monday? Yeah, it looks like it is Monday. Let me pull up my handy dandy calendar. Yeah, Monday, April 29th. We want to go to Monday. So there's a couple things we need to be able to identify. And with the bullseye strategy, okay, we are able to identify two things. Really, that's all you need to be able to do. If you look at this chart and it's confusing, all you need to know are two things. Number one, what is the trend on 15-minute time frame? So I'm going to put that here. Okay. Trend on 15-minute. All right. Trend on 15-minute. What is it? Identify it. Well, with our approach, with our strategy, we're able to identify what is the trend on 15-minute really quickly. Well, how do you do that? You do that by looking at the ribbon, or I like to call it the cloud, okay? The cloud. The cloud is very important. Well, what is the cloud? The cloud is this ribbon here. You can see it looks like a big green balloon. It looks like a big green river, a big green line. And what does that tell us? That tells us that we are bullish, okay? We're bullish, and we're looking for potential buys. All right, so that's number one. That's what you want to do. Can you identify the trend on, I said trend. We gotta learn how to spell. All right. we want to identify the trend on 15-minute. Here it is. All right. And so once you've identified that, we can continue. What's the next thing we want to do? Well, we want to pay attention to 8:30. So I typically get on the chart around 7:45, 8 o'clock, something like that. And the next thing I want to do is I need to be able to identify a most recent arrow. Can we spell right today? Most recent arrow. And I'm utilizing the bullseye arrows, our own tool that we've developed to do that. So how can we do that? Well, if I'm looking here, then these arrows will print, okay, a green arrow or a red arrow. Pretty simple, right? A green arrow or a red arrow. So prior to 8:30, we had, right, because here at 6:15, we had a green arrow right here. So what I want to do is create a rectangle, and this website I'm using is TradingView, and I just want to make a rectangle, all right, and I'll call it 15-minute arrow up. 15-minute arrow up. Okay. So if I'm getting to the chart at 8 o'clock, all right, that's what I'm going to mark up right there, okay? So we found the trend on 15-minute, and we've identified the most recent arrow on 15-minute, okay? All right, so let's just write that to 15-minute. All right, then the next thing we need to do, after we've done those two things, remember, we've only needed to identify two things. Number one, the trend on 15-minute, which we look at our cloud here, which is green. That means we're looking for buys. If it was red, we would be looking for sells. And then the second thing is the most recent arrow that printed on 15-minute, whether green or red. And in this case, before 8 o'clock, it is green. So it looks like a really good start, okay, because we have a green trend and we have a green arrow. That means we're looking for buys. All right, here's the next thing we need to do. We need to come to a 1-minute chart. That's over here. So this is 15-minute chart, okay, and here's 1-minute chart. And we need to identify what? The trend on 1 minute, all right? The trend on 1 minute. So the next thing we need to do is find the trend on a 1-minute chart, all right? Let's change that color. Let's make it orange. All right, let's make it orange. Orange is a good color. How else can we do it? How else can we do it? Settings, there it is. And then make the border orange. Come on, man. That's it. All right, cool. So we want to identify the trend. So how do we do that? We pull up the bullseye arrow tool. All right. And we want to find, okay, at 8 o'clock, what is the trend? Well, all the way here, back here, let's see, at 6:30, it looks like our trend, let's see, what time was it? It was 6:43. Right here at this yellow arrow. That tells me that our trend is now green. So look at that. We have a green trend on 15-minute and a green trend on 1 minute. Okay, so we've identified two trends, and they look like they're for buys. Okay, so then what's the next thing we want to do? Now, right? And here's the thing. You got to be sure you understand when this thing wants to do something that we can potentially profit from, okay? So now we've identified the trend on both 15-minute and 1 minute. Now, I'm going to look for opportunities to take a buy, but I want to get, and what's going to be my trigger? I need a trigger. The trigger is going to be a green arrow that prints on 1 minute, okay? Now, after 8 o'clock. So here's one here at 804. But what you want to do is be smart. Be a smart trader, okay? You want to take a green arrow that is closer to the trend cloud, okay? We want it to be closer to the trend cloud. So I'll ignore the ones that are above the cloud, and I want to get to the ones that are closer to the cloud or just exiting the cloud, okay? So right here, let's see, this is at 829. I get an arrow, okay, right there. Why? Because it came back, price came back down into the cloud, and now it's starting to show signs of going higher. So what I'll do is I will enter a buy here. All right. And so that is my buy entry. And now here's the next thing. Here, let me just go ahead and write that here. So we got the trend on 1 minute, and then wait. Let's see, enter on arrows, okay, on 1 minute. All right, so that's it. You've taken your first bullseye strategy entry. Why? Because you found the trend. All right, you found the trend on 15-minute. Which is really good. You found the 15-minute trend. You found the most recent arrow that's printed. Then you came to 1 minute and you found the trend on 1 minute. Okay. And then you took an arrow as your entry on 1 minute. That's it. That is the rules for entry. So when do you get out of this trade? This is where we're really excited to introduce the bullseye targets. Okay. The bullseye targets. Let's see. Let me come here. The bullseye targets are going to be specific targets that institutions and banks and hedge funds and all the big money where they play around at, right? And where they enter the market and stuff like that. So we want to find and we want to follow is the key, that we want to follow price in that direction, okay? So what we'll do is we will target, you see the lines that just showed up on the chart? Well, those are the targets. And that's the bullseye target tool. All right, so what we'll do is we want to target that, right? And you can see here, price comes up and almost touches that target and then starts to melt all the way down. And so what we'd like to do is when we see price make a move, right, in one direction at the open at 8:30, we want to quickly protect and take partials and then wait for potential another entry. So that is the way we enter the markets. We find the trend on 15. We find the most recent 15-minute arrow that's printed. We make a box, a range of that whole candle. Then we go to 1 minute. We find the trend and we take entries based on these arrows. It can't be any more simple than that. And what was amazing about this trade, you came here, one of the first candles you get, the first two candles you get is 25 points or 20 points, which that's a good day, no matter how you cut it. All right. So that's Monday's trade. Now you'll see price came up and then it quickly started to flush. And why didn't we get involved with that? Well, because our arrows didn't give us an entry. It didn't give us one. So, hey, missed money is better than lost money. So just because I missed it, hey, I'm not even really missing it either, especially after these 25 points right there. All right, so we'll go on to the next day. And we will see if price how price reacts to these arrows Tuesday. Okay, so let's go to Tuesday. Now that we know how to enter, all right? And if you have any questions, man, just drop them in on Facebook or YouTube or wherever it is you might be watching this from. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop those questions. Okay, I'm taking questions here in just a second. All right, going to Tuesday. Here comes Tuesday. And you can see that Monday was really just a big range, meaning it just kind of went sideways a little bit, gave us a big dump, and then that was it. All right, so then Tuesday, we'll come here to Tuesday, and we'll do the same thing right before 8 o'clock. What's going on? Well, looks like we have a red arrow that printed at 6:15. Our trend is still green. So now how do we approach a red arrow situation? Right, a red arrow on 15-minute time frame with a green cloud. Well, this is sort of not matching up. So how do you approach that? Here's what we would want to do. We would want to do the same thing, identify the trend on 15-minute, which is green, and then mark up the arrow, the most recent arrow prior to 8 o'clock. And in this particular case, we see that there is at 7:30 big news. So if you were to take these arrows, right, that was printed, I don't know how that would work out for you. All right, it looks like price just completely melted, and you were able to target this bank zone here. And then what I would do is I would adjust the bank zone to go to 17,700. And let's see, we would target that right there. And that would be it. That would be our trade for that day if you took it early in the morning like that. All right, so we continue to look at price coming in at 8:30. All right, this is the one where we want to pay attention to. So 8:30 comes in very bullish. Now, if we were to take a buy here, it wouldn't really match up with our rules because there is no green arrow on 15. And our trend is red or bearish on 1. So we would just have to miss this. If price decides it wants to go completely up, and then we watch it go up until we get a cloud change. So you can see that's exactly what happened on Tuesday. On Tuesday, it kind of goes up this direction, and then we get more opportunities for sales as price comes up into this 1-minute cloud, right? We can enter right here, and then we can target these bank zones. So here's one here. It hits the zone and then bounces off, all right? And then we have another opportunity here to sell and something like this. And then we target these bank zones. I like to go 2 bank zones and then, see what happens. And so in this case, it went down quite a bit, right? 3 bank zones, 4 bank zones. And all you had to do was wait, right? All you had to do was wait. So you have these entries that are based off of these rules and not just guessing. And this is what really makes these arrows and these clouds really work well. It's the bullseye, man. It's the bullseye strategy. All right. It's the bullseye strategy. Okay. So you could actually use these targets as potential stop loss as well. All right. So you could say something like this, maybe go a bank zone or 2 in a stop loss and then watch how price respects the trend. Okay. So all we're doing is trading with the trend. All right. So we watch price come retrace and then dumps one more time. So you could take that as an entry here. This is 11:30, so by 11 o'clock, I'm typically done. Let's see, if I change this to 50 increment, then we can see price came down here and tapped this bank zone, went a little bit beneath it as well, and then started to retrace. And here is another entry at 1 o'clock. If you're an afternoon trader, you could definitely take that. Why? Because it came up and touched the cloud, and now price is rejecting that cloud. Potentially going to hit that bank zone again, and it does. I mean, guys, this is pretty much it. This is what you want. You want to get entries that are based off of rules, okay? And so now we see price just dumping. So we adjust our bank zone levels, and now we target these bottom prices. So here's a bank zone here that could potentially get hit right there. And these two entries here get hit. I mean, this is Tuesday. Like, if you got this many winners on a Tuesday, you're pretty much taking the rest of the week off. I mean, bullseye all day long, following this trend, this cloud. All right, so we can see that price kind of slowed down in this area. And then we start a new session here. So, I mean, just you can see it for yourselves. We never get a 15-minute green arrow to print. And so now going into Wednesday, I would be looking to see if this thing wants to retrace. Okay, but I mean, we can look at bank zones, we can look at targets, we can look at arrows and clouds every day. But at the end of the day, it's all about risk management and how are you going to risk properly and trade with rules. All right, so here we are. Wednesday, we get an arrow down here, which matches up with our trend. So our trend on Wednesday is red. Let's see here. First, we start off with a green arrow. All right, on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So before 8 o'clock, it's actually green. Check that out. All right, so we're looking for buys potentially on Wednesday. Okay, we're looking for buys on Wednesday. Now, let's see. So we'll come here at 7 o'clock. Here's 8 o'clock. We're really above the cloud here at 8 o'clock. I'm looking for 8:30 to come and see how it reacts to this 1 minute cloud. Okay, and we can see that it wants to break through that cloud. And now we have potential to take buys at 9 o'clock. Okay, we have potential to take buys at 9 o'clock. And they may or may not work out, but we'll just look. We'll look and see what happens. Let's see here. So here's a buy here at 9 o'clock. I would say your risk, I typically like to use 50 points, and then we target this guy. Then we can see price dump. Okay, and then we get a red arrow down on 15 minute. All right. And so Wednesday, you can see you have to play real, precise with these entries and just follow the cloud. Follow the cloud. Cloud will always lead you in the right direction, and pay attention to how price reacts to these bank zones. Okay, so now here, all right, there it is. All right, so I would target that bank zone here for the buy. And then really there's two entries here, but I think I would have only taken one. And then you see the flush. Then the cloud flips down on 1 minute, retraces, and then Is an opportunity for a sell. Why? Because now the cloud on 1 minute is red. The trend on 15 minute is red. You have a 15-minute arrow, and you got a red arrow on 1 minute. So now we're targeting these bank zones. So here's a sell situation. All right. So the price continues to make sideways movement. All this is just kind of sideways movement, kind of going down, but it's also creating a trend line liquidity. So as soon as that trend line liquidity gets taken, which you can see here at 1 o'clock, it really gives us some volume up. And then we get a signal. This is a really important signal. This yellow arrow here tells us that the 1 minute trend has flipped from green or from red to green. So that right there, then we use a bank zone for our stop loss and risk. And let's see, if I was to change this now to increments of 50. All right, it looks like we would come up here and tap that bank zone, and then it just flies off the handle all the way up. And so at that particular point, let's see, we're at 450. We can go to 17,500. This is just kind of giving us a target of what we're going to be looking at if price goes to the higher price ranges. And I would say go ahead and target the top of that right there, which gets hit in the same session. So that's an amazing Wednesday. Okay? With ranges like that get broke, with the clouds that are telling us when to get in and the targets telling us when to get out. I mean, there's really nothing else that you need that is going to give you this kind of opportunity. Okay, and so then you see price on Wednesday kind of flush all the way back down, which we would ignore all of those because of the arrows and the clouds. All right, so Thursday would be here. It looks like we, let's see, at 8 o'clock, we get a red arrow down on Thursday. So we will fast forward our 1 minute chart to 8 o'clock. And here's Thursday. All right. So we're taking Thursday arrows and clouds, and we're waiting for trends. All right. So here's what Thursdays looks like. Okay, at 8 o'clock, we get an arrow down. Okay, prior to that, there was a 2:30 green arrow up that you could have potentially taken these buys off of a green 1 minute cloud. But now, here at 8:30, we see price kind of pop up and then melt. All right, but because the green trend has not flipped to red yet, we have to wait just a little bit. All right, and so once this blue arrow here prints on 1 minute, that is telling us that the green trend has flipped to red trend. And so all I'm going to do is enter that right there, and I'm going to put my stop loss, my risk, right at that bank zone level, okay? And then I'm going to target, there's our first bank zone here, and then potentially going to hit this next bank zone there, which it taps, and then it starts to take off. So Thursday is a winner. Now, I hope you're getting the rhythm of this thing, okay? Because it really is a powerful tool. Now, as the day goes on, you see that price is making higher, right? Going higher. And our rules tells us to stay out of the market, which I always tell folks, it's better to be wishing you was in than to be in wishing you were out. Yeah, it's okay. You just keep watching that thing. All right. So then we see price start to make a move up, right? And it's making these moves up pretty drastically with a lot of volume, with a lot of moves up. So big green arrows, big green bars going up, right? Big green bars going up. So what we wait for is for that red trend on 1 minute to flip to green. And so when I see that yellow arrow, that tells me that the trend has flipped. All right. So I'm probably going to do a stop loss, something like that. And then I'm going to target that bank zone here, which gets hit right there. So right to that bank zone. And then it kind of hangs out for a little bit, comes back to the cloud. And then if you're trading in the afternoon, which I don't, but if you did, you could target this bank zone one more time, and then it really takes off at 330 and goes to the higher price ranges. Then you could target even higher bank zones, or you could say bullseye targets right there. So 650, something like that. Boom. Gets hit and then goes sideways. So now, guys, I hope this is making sense to you. Whenever you catch this video and you're interested in getting these arrows on your chart, please, please, please come and talk to me. All right, so let's do Friday. Here's Friday, right before 8 o'clock. All right, it looks like we get a trend that is green on 15 and an arrow that prints at 3:30 a.m. Friday. So I'm going to make my little rectangle box. I'm going to bring it over. I'm going to change it to a up. All right. And so now fast forward the 1 minute chart. Here it is. And then at 7:30, you see this massive push up. All right, we got to watch that because it could just come right back down. But if it comes and touches this cloud, this 1 minute trend, then I may want to take a buy. All right, so we see at 8:26, we are really far from the cloud. So I would say if you are taking these buys, be very mindful of where the bullseye targets, right? Be very mindful of where these targets are being printed so that you know where price has potential to go. All right, so we enter here, we hit our first bank zone, we hit our second bank zone. That to me is a great trade for Friday. And then potentially coming back to the cloud like it does here. And then we would take another entry here, which is a green arrow, and our bank zone or this structure right there. And you can see price kind of comes here and retraces. So hopefully there was a take profit there. It looks like it gets hit, but just barely misses it. And so now we get another green arrow. So Friday gave us opportunities to go higher. So now we will be targeting that right there and seeing if price comes up and touches that bank zone, which it does not. So this bank zone is where we would have to end the rest of that day. And look, not a bad day for the targets and the arrows. Not a bad week. And where do you find all of these tools? You just got to let us know you want them. And we'll send you a link to add them to your chart. The bullseye arrow. Let's see. The target. That's what I want right there. There. bullseye targets, and right there, bullseye arrows. So if you want access to this, then just feel free to drop us a message and we'll reach out to you and make sure that you're able to make sense of these arrows and these trends. I'm just telling you, there's really nothing that I've ever come across that is based on pretty much four rules, 4 practices, whatever you want to call them. And that's it. Find the trend on 15. Mark up the most recent 15-minute arrow range. Then drop down to a 1-minute chart and wait for an arrow to print. And that's your entry. Super, super, super simple. If you are good at following directions and waiting for your signals and waiting for your rules to match up. Y'all, I really hope this makes sense. It's the bullseye. We're really excited to share more about this bullseye strategy. And I'll do more walkthroughs. This was a weekly walkthrough. We went through every day of the first week of May. Let this thing work out for you, and I know it will. If you're dedicated and you want to learn, this is going to be a great starting point. All right, I hope this makes sense. Man, share this with somebody. Let me know if this helps you or not, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.